see if there's a good way I can put this. I went from being religious to being spiritual. Does that make sense to you?
I want you to say more about that.
At 74 and a half, here's where I've ended up about faith and religion and all that. What I liked about my church was they didn't preach hellfire and damnation and shoulds and shouldn'ts as much as I learned about the way Christ lived and what Christ said. And what I understood was God had given me the directive to live my life as much like Christ as I could, knowing I would fail at times and I would be forgiven, but that my job as a human being and as a Christian and in my religion is I am supposed to know how Christ lived and the commandments God gave us, and that my job is to try to practice that as closely as I can, that I need to model my life as much after Christ as I possibly can, knowing I will fall short. But that's rather than you go to church on Sunday, you have to do this, you have to do that. I don't want to, because I don't want to say I'm not religious, because that's not really what I mean, but it took on a different role in my life as I've gotten through life.
Guard your steps when you go to the house of God. Go near to listen rather than to offer the sacrifice of fools, who do not know that they do wrong. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 1. Myra's message reminds me of a passage from the end of our book, Back to the Cross, that I'd like to share here.
Some people do not like to talk too much about the cross. New Testament writers unflinchingly deal with the cross and its very real sufferings and physical agony. This is remarkable because in the times when all the Gospels and letters were written, the fact that Jesus died on a cross was truly a liability for the Christian faith. Influential Roman citizens, educated and cultured inhabitants of the empire, conscientious Jews throughout the Eastern Mediterranean, all would have found a crucified Messiah ridiculous or repulsive. As a symbol, the cross has lost most of these negative connotations in the modern world. It is a symbol of the Christian faith, an identifying mark. It has even strangely become a hip sort of fashion icon in the culture apart from religious symbolism. In truth, the meaning and message of the cross has lost its sharpness and distinctive quality amid the media-soaked, data-drunk culture that we are living in. It's not simply a need to understand what the cross means. The greater need and challenge is to return to the claim that the cross makes upon our daily decisions, our choices about what we do with our time and money and talents, the large and small decisions about where we live and what we eat and how we talk and what we value in our deep hearts. The cross calls us to come and die, certainly, but it is not just about suffering and morbid preoccupation with death. It's also about joy abounding and having your eyes opened to wonder and new discoveries that could only come by choosing to leave behind the familiar and embrace God's more for you.